Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and welcome to my studio. I want to share some ideas with you today in case you happen to work in a basement or garage or other unheated space because it's winter, it's January. If you live in some place that's seasonal, and even if you're not that seasonable, it can still get cold in the winter no matter where you are. And most of us don't really have the budget to add the heated addition onto our house, or our house is probably full, we don't have a spare room that we can use for our crafting. So working in an area like the basement or garage really just makes sense. Think about it, if you had to add on an addition to your house, or if you even added a room in your basement and insulated it and everything, things like that increase your property tax. So by just kind of making a hard scrabble, slipshod studio in the space you already have, it just makes sense, and you can do it and still be quite comfortable. So I'm going to show you some tips today on how to do that. So right here, this is winter mode. I sit behind my desk. This is where I have my paper racks and whatnot. So generally I'm sitting over on the other side of my studio. I'll spin this around so you can see where I usually work the rest of the year. I am usually down in that little area there where I can reach all my stamps, kind of in that kind of cockpit area, I call it. But I really couldn't keep an area over there heated, and so I have my sewing machine and stuff. So up until the end of December, I am using all these other areas of my studio. I'm bouncing around everywhere, so I really couldn't effectively heat that anyway. But it's not too cold in that part of the year. That part of the year anyway. So I want to show you this. I just brought this down from downstairs. Can you see that? It's a thermometer. It is 57 degrees down here right now, which actually isn't too bad. It gets down to about 51 or 52. So I'm going to show you what I do to heat it. So if I spin around here, you can see over where my die cutter is. What I do is I have a space heater under my bench, and I plug it directly into the wall. If you're using a space heater, it's very important you plug it into your wall outlet and not power strip, because you will burn out your power strip. You need to go directly into a wall outlet with your space heater. I'm going to share some safety tips too, because I don't want anyone to burn their house down. That is definitely not what you want with your craft studio. So on my bench here, I have, I don't even know if that's in frame or not. I have a drape over my big bench where I sit. I'm going to move the tripod here so you can see a little bit better. And it is main, so of course my heater is going. So I don't want to run it like that. So what I do want to trap the heat under there, but I want to do it safely. So what I do is I actually lift up this part, hopefully you can see that, and I put it over the space heater. So the, I don't know if you call it the exhaust, but the heat here is going to come out here. That's where the filter is. So I've got I don't have anything right up against that. Now, I do not leave my studio with this plugged in. Definitely not turned on. I don't even leave the studio with it plugged in, because safety is my first concern. There's my dog. You see my dog? My dog is taking a nap there. She knows where to be, right behind the space heater. So I'll also lift this up here so you can have a better look at how I store under here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to move this. I have no idea what the camera is seeing right now. All right, so we have the space heater there. Over there, I have a couple of carts with paints and framing materials and other things I use for my business here. And I've got a big tote that's just full of felt and polyfill, and I got my scrapbooking bag. Honestly, that's all I take when I go scrapbooking, is that blue bag that's on top of that tote. So the rest of the year, this is chock-a-block full of storage, so I have more space to get around. But this time of the year, I clear it out. So if you see the bottom of my stool, I just got that stool for Christmas for my sister. Thank you, Bri. So I have all that. I just have to heat that area, and that keeps me really warm and toasty, because my, my legs are under the table. I can even prop them right up on that space heater if I want to. And I'm just heating a small amount of space. So that's really probably the only way I can heat an area like this. So again, have the fabric up like that, so you're just heating under your desk. Alright, so what else do I do for winter mode? That's pretty much it. I do have, I wanted to show my lighting because somebody had asked about videos and lighting. I have a couple aluminum clamp lights up there, and I switched over to 100-watt reveal bulbs because they kick off some heat, as opposed to the daylight CFLs, which I have in the rest of the room. It's great to have the extra heat on top of you, and then you've got the heat below you, and it keeps you pretty warm here in the general area where I work. And that's pretty much it for my winter tips. I do want to offer one more tip. If you are working in a basement, please there's an inexpensive kit you can buy at any home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's a radon testing kit. And I have a neighbor who's a nurse, and she had told my husband, actually, she didn't tell it to me because she knows I'm a hypochondriac, but she says, you know, Lindsay spends a lot of time in the basement. I'm a cellar dweller, as my friend Cindy would put it. You should really have it tested for radon just to make sure she's not breathing that in. She's a nurse. She worked in the cancer care part of the hospital for a while, so she was aware at the health risks of radon. So we bought this kit. It was like $20, I think, at Lowe's or Home Depot. What you do is you close up your basement and you put the kit in like a central area. So I put it actually at my photography table. It's just around the corner there. It's right like a straight shot from where I'm pointing. It's just right there. And I left the basement closed up for the weekend. Then you put the kit. It's just like a little cartridge. You put it in a sealed envelope that it is supplied with, and you mail it off to the company, and then they mail you back the results. And luckily there was no radon here, but if you do have radon, then it tells you how you can disperse the radon gases so it doesn't pose a threat to your family or yourself. So if you are contemplating making a basement craft area and you're going to be spending a lot of time down here, make sure you just spend that 20 bucks, get a radon test, and then you'll be absolutely sure that your space is perfect. And the reason we didn't finish our basement is because our foundation is quite low and we're below the water table. And we did have a company called Basement Systems, it's a nationwide company, come in and drill. It's kind of scary. They jackhammer around the perimeter of the inside of your basement. They put down drainage pipe, crushed rock, and then they cement over it. And then you have a couple ports where you can run dehumidifiers and stuff, and they have a level with the floor sump pump, and it works great unless you lose power. So that's why we didn't finish the basement, because it would be really a shame to have your basement flood if you're out of town, you don't have your power on, and then come back to mold and mustiness and having lost all that stuff. So yeah, we just kind of keep it simple, and it works for us. And having the space heater right underneath my desk, I've even got a little remote control for it. Look at that. Ah, hear that? The sound of heat. I can even control it, make it warmer or cooler. And you know, any inexpensive space heater will work for you to do that. So even if you're in the corner of a house that you don't generally heat very much, that you just have a little card table up, you can do that. You can put a space heater under your card table. That will keep you surprisingly warm. Just don't leave it plugged in. Don't run it when you're not in the room. You know, as long as you're safe, then you can make a comfortable craft area anywhere. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped you if you're living in a colder climate, winterize your unheated craft space. And you know, just do the best with what you have. We don't all have the budgets to have beautiful additions or these, you know, these magazine studios that we see that how can they actually make a mess in there? Everything is upholstered in white. Come on, people. There's no way there's any painting going on in there. So, you know, do the best with what you have and just create. Your artwork isn't going to be any better if it's created in a, you know, decked out studio as, you know, or if it's created in your basement. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you make time to make your art. And again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.